Get mantra and meditation MP3s at JasonGallant.ca.
At first, when your spiritual journey begins, the wind just comes in here. It's nice. I just wanted to let the wind talk for a minute there. So one thing that becomes apparent to you after you've been on the spiritual journey for a while is that at first you're looking for your spiritual path to reveal external fruit. You know, you're looking to fulfill the needs and desires of the ego and the suffering that drives those desires and those fears. So you may be chanting a mantra or meditating specifically to manifest, right? To make people like you. To change the world, right? Become a superhero in your own mind. I don't know. There's lots of different dreams that people have when they come to the spiritual journey. And what makes things worse is that they've probably read a lot of stories about saints and sages who have done amazing things. But one thing I will say is that if you look at an athlete and you see them do an amazing thing, how they got to be able to do that amazing thing was probably a much different reality. Meaning that if they ran the 100-meter dash in under 10 seconds, they probably did a lot of other work in order to be able to achieve that. A lot of lifting weights, a lot of balance, a lot of technique training, a lot of time, and then their nutrition had to be on point, their sleep. They did a lot of things that don't look like running the 100-meter dash in 10 seconds at all. They did a lot of other things to contribute to that. And that was one of the results. So the spiritual journey, as much as it may manifest external fruit, most of the work, if not all, actually I'll say all of the work is done within. So the ego is externally fixated. And then you turn the ego inside, and then the ego says, oh, okay, I'm going to change stuff around in there too. I'm going to make my all my experiences peaceful. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So that's another trick the ego does. It starts to take control of the internal process. But the truth is that when you exist within yourself, just allowing that existence to be there, and when you no longer follow the impulses or the falsehoods that your ego has taught to you, or the ego is telling you, repeating almost like a mantra, when you stop following these impulses, something else emerges within you that is more in alignment with truth. So what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of temporary experiences created by stories the ego has told to you. That you do not have to give relevance to. So say you are sitting here and you're bored. An unconscious person will just follow that boredom right away and just start to do things because of that boredom. But a person seeking the truth will question, what is that boredom really? Is that impulse telling me the truth? And just by sitting with that experience of boredom and dropping the stories around it, you will see that that experience will evolve right before your eyes. It may take a few moments. It may take a few minutes. It may take a few hours, or it may take a 40-day discipline of meditation. But at some point, that experience that has been driving all of your action purifies itself. And this, when you start to do or apply this process, you start to embrace a deeper level of truth. You're no longer following the tricks of the mind. It's almost like the mind is a human with a laser pointer and you're a cat. And every time the laser pointer comes out, you're just compelled to follow in whatever direction, regardless of whether there's any wisdom in it, right? That laser pointer might lead you right into the middle of a street, right? Or off a cliff. So the whole point is, no pun intended, point, is to not follow superficial weather, superficial energies. It is to embrace them, to allow them to become one with you, instead of resisting, saying, I don't like that experience, and then taking action. It's like you're a little pond and you're becoming an ocean by accepting more water. And some water comes in the form of boredom. Sometimes it comes in the form of anxiety. It may come in the form of anger or intensity. It has many forms. But this internal process leads you to greater freedom. An experience that's always with you. Now, a funny thing happens as your experience within you purifies itself. Then your ability to observe internally and externally becomes more accurate. Meaning that you are more discerning in what is the right place for you to be and the right time to be there. There will not be so much indecision of back and forth. There will just be this movement of truth, as some say. And this continually evolves. I mean, it's a continual process, but the purer you become, the more of a master of these internal forces you become, meaning you just don't follow blindly just anything that emerges within you. What happens is pure perception happens and a greater ability for discernment. You're no longer just following panic, right? Panicked people don't make smart decisions. So freedom breeds clarity. Not necessarily intelligence. I've had a lot of stupid moments, right? But there's clarity about yourself. And what is appropriate. Then you start using the mind as a tool instead of the mind being your slave driver. So don't be disheartened if you're doing spiritual work and the external world has not changed according to your will yet, because the internal process is where most of this, if not all of it, I'll say all of it again, I'll say all of it. I mean, there's always exceptions, but I'm just going to say all of it takes place. That's really where your focus point is internally, inside you. What false concepts do you have around the experiences that you're experiencing? And what are you just resisting for the sake of resisting itself? So many people quest after peace, right? I just want to get along with everybody in the world and everything, but they don't get along with themselves, with what's going on within them. They're not receiving the experiences organically as they happen. They're resisting, micromanaging, trying to change, trying to wiggle away from. This won't work. Peace is achieved within you. And then from there may be some interesting decisions you make in your life that lead to a greater collective peace. Although again, there can be conflict too, because that's life. So I hope this helps you on your spiritual journey. Take care for now.
Are you interested in working with a spiritual teacher in a formal setting? Well, perhaps the Wisdom Life School is for you. If you're interested in checking out what the Wisdom Life School is all about, just go to aratima.com.